Will you go to jail for burning the American flag? This is Christina Williams with Just Criminal Law.
And David Mann, legal storytelling specialist. Yeah, that's been a question for a while, and I think it's come back up in the news. Is it a crime to burn a flag?
Well, that depends. And it goes back to the case where the individual yelled, "Fire," in a crowded theater, and the people ran out of the theater. They were, afraid for their safety, and they ended up trampling each other, and there were many that were injured as a result of this speech. Now, in that scenario, the person was guilty of breaching the peace, and so they were able to be criminally prosecuted. Now, if you burn an American flag, it goes back to what was your intention. Why did you burn the flag? And so it really depends on the circumstances surrounding the free speech. Now, it has been held to be free political speech if you're simply expressing your dissatisfaction with the government for something that they've done that you don't agree with. This is considered protected political speech if you're merely doing it to express your feelings.
Okay, so so far it sounds like I didn't actually know that crying fire in the theater was a real thing that really happened. So that's really interesting. So we're considering the burning of a flag, even though it doesn't necessarily involve speaking. The act of doing that is considered what we would call speech, right?
Right. Now, it can become a crime. Say, for instance, you are an individual who's involved in a peaceful protest, and it's Veterans Day, and you're next to a group that's celebrating Veterans Day, and maybe they've just had a Veterans Day parade. And you burn the flag and yell, "Burn the courthouse down." And that violent act of burning the courthouse down, that arson, results in a crime being charged against the individuals who set the fire and against you for inciting them into doing that. So burning the flag coupled with the speech, "Burn the courthouse," and then the result of the arson of the courthouse, that will put that individual in, a criminal charge. However, if you are in that same situation and it really becomes kind of a gray area, you burn the flag, but you don't yell anything along with burning the flag. However, you and your group of protesters came there with the intention of creating a confrontation. Now that takes the speech, which, outside of this context would have been free political speech, burning the flag, but it puts it in the context of you do it next to the individuals celebrating Veterans Day, and you and your group of protesters have decided beforehand that you're going to create a confrontation with this burning of the flag. And so if burning of the flag is going to cause the other group to rush over to your protesting group, and if this happens, you're going to start fighting each other, then this, again, is a crime, and you can be criminally liable for the resulting assaults.
Okay, so I guess, where it gets to be a gray area is if someone is sort of, like you say, burning a flag in protest of something, and they might be screaming things like, down with the government, standing right in front of a government building, and then protesters separately decide to ransack that building, that the person burning the flag is not necessarily considered responsible for that. Is that what you're saying?
Right. That would be a good example where, the individual was just expressing their free speech and showing it through burning the flag and letting, the world know that they're not happy with what's going on with the government, but they have no intention of any violence occurring, and it just happens to result in, the crowd getting all riled up and burning the courthouse. That there's not a nexus, that is, there's not any sort of connection between the speech and the violent action. And so that would be a case where they would not be able to hold the person burning the flag liable.
So it sounds like these kinds of questions are sometimes very nuanced. So if someone is facing a charge over something like this, they might need a lawyer. So how do they get a hold of you?
Sure, we'll include a link in the description where they can call, text, or chat with a member of my team anytime, day or night. Here at Just Criminal Law, we know you only get one shot at justice, so make yours count.